welcome back to my channel, or welcome. If you're new here, a very warm welcome to you. My name's Emily and I am a knitter, crocheter and very occasional sewer. Today's episode is extremely exciting because it is a new style of episode that I'm going to be doing. And I have mentioned this before, but it has just taken me a little while to actually get round to start doing it. So today is the first one. It's very exciting. I'm not entirely sure if this is going to be the first video you'll see in that style of video. I have a feeling it will be, so we're going with it. So this is going to be a project vlog video. So essentially what I'm going to do is I am going to take you with me as I start a project and take it all the way to finished. So I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be in parts because I just don't know how much footage I'm going to get for this project, but let's dive in and I'll tell you what project I am working on. So the project is this one. It is a project bag. It is just called project bag, if I show you that, a knitter's project bag, and it is by Laola patterns. I will have all the details linked below, so where you can find this pattern. I believe it is on Etsy. I think that's where I got it from. But yeah, I love this style of bag. It looks fantastic. It's got a drawstring at the top here, 2 handles, and it's got pockets on the outside, and I believe it's got pockets on the inside as well. Love the style of it. So I really want to make this. I haven't grabbed the material. You'd think I'd be prepared, but I'm clearly not. So where we are starting, obviously I have the pattern here. When I printed the pattern pieces, they were A4 sheets of paper, so I didn't print it on A0, I printed it on A4 sheets of paper, which then needed to be sellotaped. I'm going to show you the back bit. Needed to be sellotaped together, so you can kind of see that I've sellotaped the pieces together. So I had a big massive sheet of paper that was sellotaped, loads of A4 sheets of paper sellotaped together. I have now just been sitting here, you can actually see it in the background. I have been cutting up all those pieces. So let me grab some, hang on. Here I've got some pieces here that I'm not going to delve into it too deeply because this is a paid for pattern, but just to give you an idea, I'll turn it around. I've got little pieces here that I've been cutting out from that big sheet that I sellotaped together. I didn't want to show you too much in terms of the process of piecing it together and cutting it out because it is a paid for pattern and I'm just being very sensitive with what I show. So just bear with me. This is not a how-to tutorial. This is just a come sew with me. If you have this pattern, let's do it together. And it's kind of like taking you on the journey and showing you behind the scenes. I keep saying seams. I have a series called Behind the Seams, and every time I say behind the scenes now, I automatically default to behind the seams. It's not the best thing I could have done, but never mind. So it's taking you behind the scenes of how I go from start to finish of a project. This is going to be over a number of days. I don't know how many days, which is another reason why I cannot guarantee how many parts this video is going to be in. As I start editing it throughout the days that it takes me to make this project, obviously I will then have a better idea and I can let you know a bit further in the video as to whether, well, you'll know because it'll say either part 1 or the whole project. So yeah, that's where I'm at the minute. Just cutting these out. I'm on the last piece. Just got to cut this big piece out. There you go. That's idea. So each of the A4 pieces of paper, I'll turn it right around, had number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you know how to piece it together. You also get a schematic. I'm going to hold this back as well. A schematic on how to piece everything together. And then it also goes into how to lay everything on the fabric. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to quickly show you the fabric. Hang on. All right, I've grabbed everything I need. So I think I've got everything from what the pattern states. What does it say? It says supplies. What do I need? I need a main fabric, which is the exterior fabric. I need fabric for the lining and interior elements. I need a zipper for the interior pocket and an elastic band. I also need durable cotton webbing and cord for the drawstring closure. So I have the cord because I've made loads of, let me grab one, hang on. I've made loads of these bags. These are the Finch bucket bags. So I have this cording. It is basically macrame cording. So I've got loads of that, so I don't need to buy any more. I also have this, which is what they consider webbing. Let me just hold that up. There we go. That is the webbing that I have. However, this is really floppy. And looking on this design, it looks like it needs to be a lot thicker. So I do have some thicker one, but I'm just not sure on it yet. That is kind of like a pencil in it at the minute. But the main things that I have is my main fabric, which is the whole reason I wanted to make this bag in the first place. Let me open it out a little bit for you so you can see it in all its glory. This is my main fabric. And this is inspired by Starry Night, the painting by Van Gogh. So I'm really excited about this. This is going to be my little Van Gogh bag. Bring it closer so you can see that. I'm just trying to make sure that I can see that you're seeing what I'm seeing. So this is the main fabric for the outside. Then I just got some plain navy cotton for the inside. It is literally just plain navy cotton. So that will be the inside of the bag, and as you can see they go quite nice together. Exciting. I then got a little zipper, which is a navy zipper. Nothing too fancy there, but it kind of goes quite nicely with the fabric, I think. I'm quite pleased with that. And then I have my elastic. So I have everything I need, apart from possibly the webbing that I need for these handles. So as I say, I do have some, I'm just not 100% sure about it. And I may need to hand sew it because it might be a bit thick for my sewing machine. But anyway, that is where we're at. The next stage that I need to do is just finish off cutting out this piece. This is the last piece, as I said. Cut that out, then everything is ready for me to start cutting the fabric. The first thing I will need to do is iron this fabric and this one, obviously. Iron both the fabrics and then start cutting it out. So that will be the next stage, but probably not today. So the next time you see some more work on this project, I will probably, I have issues saying probably. I do apologise. But anyway, the next time you see this, the next piece of footage you're going to see of work on this project, I will most likely be in different clothing because it will be a different day. But yes, I will check back with you when I do some more work on it. Hello everyone, it is another day and I've decided that I'm going to start cutting out the fabric. Before I was going to cut out though, I wanted to sit here and just read through a bit of the pattern because I've never made this pattern before and I want to kind of go in knowing what I'm doing. Loosely knowing what I'm doing. I have read a couple of things on the pattern. Let me move those. Honestly, I've got stuff everywhere at the minute. So the first, I'm going to make a couple of changes. That's what I've decided. The first change is that the pockets on the inside of the bag, they actually are using the lining fabric. So everything on the inside of the bag is using the lining fabric. So for me, that's my plain navy fabric. I would kind of like the pockets on the inside to be in the main fabric if I've got enough. So that's my first change, is I'm going to have a look and see if I have enough fabric to do those inner pockets using the main fabric. I think that would be quite nice. So fingers crossed I've got that. That's the first change. The second change that I'm going to make is that it does actually state this in the fabric recommendations. It doesn't state it in the supplies. But in the fabric recommendations, it does state that if the weight of your fabric, it doesn't really matter on the weight of your fabric really. It does say that you can use many types of medium weight fabric. Now I'm using 100% cotton. It's not very structurally sound, let's put it that way. So for a bag like this, I would hope to create a fabric that's a bit stiffer than the cotton that I've got. So my plan was to use interfacing, and it does actually recommend that in this pattern. Where does it state that? Yeah, it says using lighter weight fabrics like patchwork cotton, you'll have a less structured bag, which is true. You can also use interfacing for more structure. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the interfacing on the main fabric on the outside. I'm also going to use it on the outer pocket as well, just to create more sturdiness within that pocket. I am unsure as in terms of the inside at the moment. I'm just going to use it on the outside, that's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to have a look at the pattern pieces. There's some just behind me. I'm going to have a look at the pattern pieces and decide how big I need to do the interfacing and which pieces it's going to go on. As I say, I think it's just going to go on the main body pieces and then also on the exterior pocket piece as well. I think that's what I'm going to do. I did think of another change actually, because this outer pocket is actually made, this outer pocket here is actually made using just the main fabric, I believe. So the inside of the pocket is going to be in your main fabric as well. But I'm thinking, similar to what I do with the Finch bucket bag, I'm thinking of halving it. So half of it will be in the main fabric and then the inside of it will be in the navy fabric. That's what I'm thinking of doing. So I need to have another little think. I'm going to cut out the pieces that I 100% know are going to be in those fabrics, and then I'll have a think in terms of what kind of fabric I've got left in terms of, you know, what I'm going to do really. But those are my thoughts out loud. I also wanted to show you these before I get stuck in. So these are the webbing that I use. This is the one that I use for my Finch bucket bag. So it's a really light, really floaty, it's not very structurally sound at all, webbing. So I kind of had it in my head that I'm not going to use this because I want the handles to be really structurally sound. Now in the pattern itself, it does actually, you don't need these, these are optional. It does actually give you the pattern pieces to make your own. So what you could do is you could cut the pattern piece in the fabric, and then maybe if you're using 100% cotton like me, or not actually, because that might make it quite stiff, but you could put interfacing in that handle if you wish. So you don't necessarily need these, but I already have these because of doing the Finch bucket bags. So this is the other one that I have, and I think I'm going to use this actually. I haven't got the fabric with me, but I'm pondering. You're with me on this journey. So this is that. It is silver, but it's really stiff. So if I were to make a handle like that, as you can see, it stands up on its own. It's got no issues whatsoever. The only issue I have with this is it's quite thick. So for my sewing machine to go through that, and fabric and interfacing, I'm not sure that's such a grand idea. So this I'm going to have to do some testing on to figure out if that's going to be all right. But yeah, I am leaning more towards this webbing, to be honest. Let me just put that back in so it's not going everywhere. So that is my plan and my changes. Here is my macrame cord. Again, I have this because I made a lot of Finch bucket bags, so I've got plenty of this left, as you can see. So yeah, I didn't need to buy anything extra for this. It was already in my stash, so that's great. But yeah, I am going to start, I'm going to iron my fabric first, then I'm going to lay the pieces out, just make sure I've got enough fabric, because I might not have enough, and then I'm going to start chopping. So yeah, I'll take you on the journey. Been a very long day of cutting out fabric. You can see the navy fabric just behind me. I've still got one piece to cut out. Can you see? Not really, can you? There's a piece here that I just need to cut out. It's all drawn up, ready to go. I just need to cut it out. I haven't done it yet. It's basically the mirror of this piece. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure I've got everything cut out. Let me just double check. I've cut pretty much everything out, just got to cut that out. There is a piece that I'm unsure about. It's a really small piece, so I'm not too worried about not cutting it out right now, because if I come across it, I can cut it out. But I've been through all the instructions and I couldn't find where this piece goes, so I'm not quite sure what it's for. But it's on there. It looks like it might be part of one of the straps, which I don't need to worry about because I'm not actually doing it. I wonder if it's part of the threading that got, like the cord, that I'm going to be using my macrame cording with. I've got a feeling it's to do with that, to be honest. How many do I have to make? Only one of them, so I don't know. Really unsure about that, to be honest. But I have, as I say, cut pretty much everything out now. I have even gone so far as to putting the, you can probably just about see that, putting the interfacing onto this piece of fabric. So these are the outside pieces. I've done both of those. So with the interfacing, I just cut it out and then I hold the iron over it for about 4 to 8 minutes, depends how I'm feeling. And I don't sweep the iron across, I'll just press it down and hold it in place, and it bonds quite nicely to the fabric. It creates, obviously, as you can see, a very stiff piece of fabric, but I've only done that on this top part, so this bottom part's still quite loose. But I've done that for both the main fabric outer pieces, and I was going to do it for the pocket that goes on the outside as well, but I might not actually do that anymore. Because it's going to be the 2 pieces of fabric. I've got them here actually. Oh no, I haven't. These are the casing. But if I'm going to have 2 pieces of fabric and they're going to be around the outside, I think it's going to be okay. So I don't think I need to do the interfacing. I've cut it anyway. It's over there somewhere. I think you can just see it there. I have cut the interfacing, but I just don't think I'm going to use it for the pocket. Maybe a mistake, who knows, but we'll see. So I am going to call it for today because I'm absolutely shattered. And I have actually ordered some thread because I realised the only blue threads I have are these colours. And if I hold the fabric up, you can see that the fabric is actually quite dark. So I have ordered some navy blue thread. So hopefully when that comes tomorrow, that'll be a better match. I was thinking of just doing it in white thread and just having a complete and utter contrast thread to fabric, but I don't think I'm going to go that wild with this. I think I am just going to stick with the navy thread. So I've ordered the navy thread, but I almost gave up halfway through the day. I almost just cut out all the pieces of the Starry Night fabric, but then I thought, no, let's just cut it all out because then it's all cut and I don't have to worry about that. The next stage is just sewing everything together. I think this is the part that I really struggle with when making project bags or making any sort of sewing pattern, is just cutting out the fabric in the first place. It's very tedious to me. I don't know why, but yeah, once it's all cut out, then obviously the fun part can start and I can start sewing things together and things will start moving a lot quicker. And I will also probably discover that I have done things wrong because I have done, hang on, I'll grab it while it's here. I have done something wrong already. So this piece for the pocket, it's actually one big piece, and the idea is you cut it out with the main fabric and then you fold the main fabric in half, and then that's your double strength pocket. However, I thought, and as I mentioned a moment ago, I mentioned that I wanted to do the outside of the pocket. Let me just put my demonstration into practice. There we go. The outside of the pocket being the main fabric and the inside of the pocket actually being the lining fabric. And I thought that'd be a really nice idea, so I'm really happy that I'm doing that. However, I completely omitted the fact that I need to add seam allowance to the top of both pieces of fabric, because obviously when I'm sewing it together, I'll be folding it down. There's a centimetre seam allowance, so I'm basically losing a centimetre of fabric by doing this because I forgot to add the centimetre onto both these pieces. So I'm losing a centimetre, but that should be okay. So fair warning to you all, just if you're going to do like I did, make sure you add the seam allowance onto both pieces of fabric, because you are losing that by sewing those two pieces of fabric together and then folding them down. So just bear that in mind. I obviously didn't, but I have got those pieces cut and that's what I'm doing with them. So yeah, the next stage is just sewing it all together and seeing how I get on. Let me just have a look at it. I mean, there's a lot of steps. How many steps have we got? I mean, I would expect there to be a lot of steps because this is quite a complex bag in terms of what I'm used to. I'm used to the Finch bucket bag, which just has pockets inside, and then that's it. It does have casing and a bit of webbing for the handle, but yeah, how many stages? There's 42 steps, which, just seeing if I can see where K goes. I still don't know where K goes, but yeah, anyway, there's a lot that's going to be happening. There's a lot of pieces to attach and sort out, so it's going to be quite in-depth and complex. But I am ready. I'm quite excited to do this, but obviously I'm not doing any of it right now because it's 3:15. I need to tidy up, I need to wash up, and I need to chill a bit because that was quite intense, to be honest, and I've made a complete mess of the living room floor. As you can see, it is an utter mess, so I'm going to sort that out. The next time you see me, I will hopefully have my sewing machine out and I will be sewing pieces together, so I'm very excited to check back with you in the next stage. Speak to you in a bit. Hello everyone, it is another day and I am going to do a bit more work on this project bag. Now, one thing I am changing since you last saw it is I've just turned the iron on and I'm going to fuse the interfacing that I cut for the pocket. I am going to put that on the pocket, so that's the next task. Once I've done that, I can actually start sewing because instructions are here. And the first instruction is to work on the pocket. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my camera and do like a time lapse of me just sewing away. And I will interject when things happen, just in case anything does happen. But yeah, I am going to get cracking on it. So I will be back. Hopefully things will go smoothly and it will just be thoughts and feelings rather than panic stations. But yeah, I'll check in when I can. Hello, quick check-in for you all. I have just finished the outer part of the bag, so I'll give you a quick show of it. I'm not sure if I'm going to carry on and do the inside of the bag because it's going on about overlocking. I do have an overlocker, but obviously I haven't got it out. So I will have a ponder about that, but I'll quickly show you what I've done so far. Hang on. Right, so here it is. This is what I've done so far. As you can see, I've been able to use my stiff handles, so I'm really, really happy about that. The pockets, it's really hard to show you, but inside is the lining fabric, which is great. Those pockets are only on the one side, the other side they are not on. And then inside you can see that I've just done the top part and also I've attached the casing for the drawstring. I can do this, but as you can see there's nothing inside the bag because I need to do the lining now with all the pockets inside. I'm still debating whether or not to do the elasticated pocket because I'm just not sure how that's going to sit, But I'm absolutely loving this. It is perfect, isn't it? I'm so pleased. There are a number of mistakes. There always are. The outer pocket is pulling this fabric in a bit, but I'm really happy that I have stiffened both the pockets and this fabric because it stands up really nicely. It might have stood up fine without the interfacing, but I'm just really glad that it's there. So yeah, it looks really nice at the moment. So the next step is the inside. We'll see if I fancy doing that today. And yeah, I will show you more as I go. Hello everyone, I am back again. It's been quite a bit of time since I last updated you on the project bag and filmed a vlog of making it. I paused essentially, there's a lot of things been happening, but either way we're back here today because I have a nice little stack of sewing projects that I really want to make, and I have piled all these up today with the intention of working on them, doing a little bit and bobs here and there. So for this one, cutting out the fabric. For this one, cutting out the fabric for that one. For this one, drafting the pattern pieces because I always trace from the A0 pattern pieces. I usually trace my size because I might want to go back to it. I might change size at some point. So yeah, I like to have the original hard copy and then my version of the drafting. So I want to do that for these trousers, and I also want to do the same for this, which is the Style Arc Palmer dress. But I mean, I shouldn't really do these, should I? So they're going to get put to the side for now. I may cut them out anyway and do little bits and bobs here and there for break, but the main focus is getting this bag finished because I don't want it to be still sat there awaiting being finished. So the last time I showed you the bag, I don't remember too well what I showed you, but essentially I've done the outside, I've got the pockets, and I've also got this insert here. And I stopped. I mean, it's just the inside that I need to do now, and in theory that shouldn't be too bad, but I realised why I paused, because I'm looking at the instructions here. How many pages have I got left? I've got 1, 2, I've only got 3 pages left of instructions to go, and it is literally just the inside and attaching the inside to the bag. So I stopped for 2 reasons. One of the reasons was I didn't know if I was going to be using the elastic. I'm still on the fence about that. I did read a comment from one of yourselves saying skip the elastic. I am very tempted to do that because I don't feel the structure of the bag is strong enough to support the elastic. I think it's just going to really cinch the inside of the bag in. But when I get to the instructions, I can make that decision then. That's one decision made, half made. The second thing is that the next step is actually to work on the zip. So I've not really done this kind of zip work before. I've sewn zips into dresses loads of times, but I've never done a zip that's encased in various different things. So I have read the first instruction, and the first instruction is overlock or zigzag the edges of the pocket pieces. So I need to get my overlocker out. That's probably another reason I stopped, because I was using my normal sewing machine and I knew I had to get the overlocker out. I also didn't have thread for the overlocker. Weirdly enough, I have been and bought some overlocker thread that is navy. The only reason I bought this is because I am making, what am I making? I'm making something that's navy. I'm making a t-shirt that's navy, and I knew I'd need navy overlocking thread, so I bought some. And it just so happens that this is what I need to continue this project. It's been that long. So I've got my overlocking thread. So the first job today, after I've done the laundry, after I've been to the shops, because I've got to go shopping today, after I've done that, I will then come home, I will set up my overlocker, and I will thread my overlocker. Or I might do that before I go, actually, because the washing machine's still got probably about 15 minutes, half an hour left. I'm sure I can thread up my overlocker in that space of time. So I might do that before I go. But either way, the next bit of footage you will be seeing is me threading up my overlocker, hopefully, and not it's only the second time that I've threaded it up. So I might have to put on a YouTube video just to kind of make sure I can do it right. But either way, getting back on track. Super excited. So I will see you all in a little bit. Hooray! That is me all threaded up with the navy. The machine is ready to go. As you may have noticed in the hyperlapse, I threaded it up slightly wrong. My machine has this really handy diagram just here, and it's all colour coded, so it kind of helps you when it comes to threading it up. But there were two things that I couldn't remember. One of them was how to move the blade out of the way. You just push it in and then swivel it. I forgot how to do that. I couldn't remember, so I had to Google it. And the second thing was, I think I threaded something down here incorrectly the first time because it was pulling and it just didn't quite work as it should. So that's why I rethreaded it again using the video. It's a very helpful tutorial that Singer have put out for threading their machines. Although they are colour coded, as I say, it is very helpful to have the video because, yeah, it makes it so much faster to thread up. They're really not as daunting as they look. As I say, there are videos out there for helping you thread them up. And yeah, now I'm all ready to go with navy. So I'm going to go to the shop. Well, I'm going to get dressed first because I am still in my pyjamas. But I'm going to go get dressed and then I'm going to head to the shop, do what I need to do. And then I'm coming home and I'm going to sew my little heart out. So I'll be back in a bit. Alright, quick update. I am about to start doing the sewing now that I've edged all these pieces. But I realised that's all I have left of my thread that I have been using for this project. Not ideal. That's not enough, I don't think, to finish this bag. I have quite a lot left on the bobbin, as you can see. There's quite a bit left on there. Now the closest I have is this one here. But this, as you can see, if it focuses, this is actually a different kind of thread. If you have a look, the colours of the spools are different. And that is because this is a Maraflex thread. So what does it say it on there? There we go, Maraflex. So this basically has a bit of stretch to the thread. So I'm not going to use that for this project because this is not a stretchy fabric and that's not the idea. So I can't use that. And yeah, these are the only other options. This one could work though for this specific piece because it looks pretty spot on actually. So I might just wind up another bobbin and use that. Put these two to a side for top stitching on the outside of the bag. If there's any more, I don't think there's any more. There might not be. So I might actually just try and make do with this and do the inside of the bag with this. See how I get on. Hopefully I don't run out. I don't think I will. But yeah, the next step is to get this zip inserted. I'm quite nervous. We'll see how we go. I'll check back with you in a bit. Ta-da! We have a pocket. How exciting is that? With a zip, if I can zip it, not so expertly. There we go, nice little zip. Happy days. I did realise that my zip is a little bit shorter perhaps than the pattern suggests. So this could be why I've got little gaps here. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to make the pocket a little bit smaller. So when it says the seam allowance for folding over these edges and sewing them on, I will go by this rather than this edge. So I'm going to be folding over double. I might even roll the hem. So instead of having it folded like that, because I'm going to have a bit more wiggle room, I'm tempted to fold it twice like that and have a more, I mean, it's inside, it doesn't really matter, but that's just what I'm thinking. But there we go. Pocket is ready for the rest of the bag. So let's have a look at the instructions and see what I need to do next. Okay, so we have a pocket that is fully ready to go onto the lining. I'm really pleased with this. It's not my best work when it focuses. There we go, you can see it's all encased in there, the zip is, and it's all ready. With the seams, these seams I did fold them over just because there would have been quite a bit of bulk by where the zip is, and I didn't really want to get fabric trapped in the zip as I'm opening it. So that's the reason that I have rolled these hems, just to get that excess fabric out the way, because I wasn't going to get the overlocker back on the table and sort that out. So that is now done, nicely finished and ready. Also, here is piece K. I have cut piece K out because it's not my best work in cutting out, but that's fine, it didn't really matter. Because piece K, I have found out where it goes. It actually goes on the side of the pocket, and it's going to be a little loop for stitch markers. So I ummed and ahed about doing it, but I figured, why not, let's do it. I think it's quite cute, so I'm going to do it. I'm really happy that I found out what piece K is as well, so that's exciting. Yes, that is a mouse. I am currently editing the video. I am sat on the floor editing the video because the table is full of sewing machine and bits and bobs, you know, as you do. So yeah, I'm gonna go sort this out and do the next lot of sewing. Hello everyone, me again, another check-in. I am in a right state at the minute. As you can see, there is fabric everywhere. I need to plug my machine in actually, because I had to use the overlocker on this piece I'm working on. I had to use the overlocker on the floor. Not my finest piece of work, but I'm working with what I can at the minute. It's turned into quite the bodge job, if I'm honest. But it's fine. I'm realising that a couple of the pieces aren't finished the way I would ordinarily like them to be finished. So I have made some executive decisions on some of the pieces. Also, I've made some decisions in terms of layout and what I'm doing. So this piece here, I have made a decision. I'm going to turn you around actually, because this is going to be ridiculous to show you otherwise. Hang on a moment. Okay, so this piece here is, as you can see, it's got the pocket, the zip pocket that I was working on this morning. That is fixed, that is in place. I did have a little accident here. There's a pull in the fabric and it's not looking great, but I have realised that my needle on my sewing machine is perhaps a bit on the blunt side now. It went through one of my pins, so one of these pins, and it broke it in half. So I don't think that's done the needle any good on the sewing machine, which is not great, but I've got no more universal needles to change it with, so I'm just going to see how I get on. It's not doing the best job, but you know, we'll see how we do. It'll be fine. So this is the first inside piece. Two decisions I have made on this piece. The first one is this piece. So this is that lovely tab that was piece K that I didn't think I needed, but yes, I would like it. It was supposed to be on this side. I have moved it over here because I felt like it was going to be in the way of this piece, which is a pocket for, you could use it for pens, you could use it for needles, you could use it for crochet hooks, whatever. And I felt like that was going to be in the way if it was on this side. Also, with this pocket. What have I done with the piece of fabric? Ah, there it is, right. So this pocket had a little flap that was supposed to go over the top and that you lift and get stuff out. I have decided not to go with this piece. I prepared it and everything, it's all ready to go. I just need to sew it in, but I've decided not to go with it because I feel like it's going to get in the way of this piece. There is a thread everywhere. I assure you I finished it all off. Yeah, so I've decided not to go with that flap. I mean, that's the joy of making your own things, right? You can make executive decisions as to how you feel it's going to function for you, which is great. Also, you can see that this thread is definitely not matching my navy fabric. It's fine. It's going to be inside. I'm the only one who's going to really see this, so it's just really for me. But I'm really pleased with how that's looking. I'm quite pleased with that piece. Now, I'm currently about to sew up this piece. As you can see, I have decided to go with the elastic. That's another executive decision I've made. I figured, why not? Let's see how it goes. Hopefully it'll be fine. What's the worst that can happen, right? So I've threaded the elastic through. I'm just going to fix the pocket in and then do whatever else I need to do. But yeah, so those are decisions that I've made. I imagine the next time you see me, I will be showing you a finished bag. That is my hope. It's what I'm aiming for today. Hopefully it's going to work out how I plan. The only thing I can see being a little bit troublesome is this elastic, but I really want to try it actually. I'm quite curious as to what it'll do. I'm still convinced it'll cinch the bag in a little bit, but we'll see. I'm going to trust the process. Yeah, I've made enough executive decisions with this, so I'm gonna trust the process on this one. So yeah, fingers crossed. Keep your fingers crossed for me, and the next check-in will hopefully be a finished bag and not a mishap. So yeah, see you in a bit. So close now. I'm just checking in. There's not been a catastrophe or anything like that, but I am drastically low on thread. I've only got 2 more big bits of sewing to do. I've got to sew the inside to the outside, and then I have to do top stitching. So I've made a decision because this is all I have left of that lighter thread, and I'm hoping it's going to be enough to do the sewing for sewing this piece together. I know it's lighter than the fabric, but you're not going to see that thread. It is just to literally sew it together. The darker thread, I have about the same amount, maybe, yeah, about the same amount. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the lighter thread to sew the pieces together, because you're not going to see it, as I've just said, and then I'm going to use the darker thread, switch to the dark thread, and do the top stitching with that. Fingers crossed, that is everything. I'm pretty sure I've read all the instructions, and those are the last 2 bits of sewing that I need to do, and then it'll be good. But fingers crossed, I am playing thread chicken, not yarn chicken, thread chicken. So wish me luck. And again, hopefully, by the time you see me in a moment, there have been no catastrophes and the bag is done. Anyway, I better get to it. Hello everyone, I am back, and as you can see, I have finished the bag. I am really happy that it's finished. It was a labour of love for sure. It took me far longer than I had hoped, but there was a lot more to it than I thought there was going to be. Before I delve any further, just a quick reminder, the pattern that I have used is this lovely pattern. Again, please excuse the fact that I have spilled something on the pattern. I am sure you will have seen in a number of my videos, I work in a chaotic environment. It's just the way I work. I have everything around me, so that means that when I knock something over, things get spilled upon. So yes, I do apologise for that. But anyway, this is the project bag, and there it is, and it is by Laola Patterns. I will have the link to this pattern in the description below, so please check it out if you are curious. As I said before, this is not a tutorial because this is a paid for pattern, so I have been quite careful with what I show you, but I have finished it, and here it is. At long last, it is done. I'm so happy with it, and yeah, as I said earlier, I'm really happy that I've been able to use that stiff webbing because it just sits really nicely. Now, Couple of things. I've already gone through the changes that I've made. One thing that I would change if I were to make it again is I would interface that bottom, because it is really, really not very stable. I've not put anything in here yet. No, I've not put anything in. I'm just looking if I've got any yarn to hand. I probably do actually. Hang on. Bear with me. I have... here we go. A little bit of yarn that I can put in here just to kind of get a feel for it. But it is a two-handled bag, but it also has a little flap here that is drawstring. So this is the kind of opening that I am used to on my project bags. I usually do the Finch bucket bag, so it has the drawstring open. But what I like about this bag is you've got the best of both worlds. You've got a tote style bag, but you've also got an extra drawstring closure. So if you really want to stuff it full, you really could. You could have it a bit higher than the actual bag, which is nice. You've just got a little bit more for your project bag. It is a drawstring open. You will have also just seen me doing the inside. You can't really see in there, unfortunately. But do I still have that torch? No, I've gotten rid of it. So I have got that zipper pocket in here. There it is. I put the zipper pocket facing, backing the two pockets at the front. I've also done that elasticated pocket on the inside, but that is on the back of what I consider as the back of the bag. I am counting the pockets on the front. You can't really see it again. I'm counting the pockets on the front as the front of the bag. It's just the way I feel. And then the back of the bag doesn't have those pockets, is what I'm counting. But anyway, let's put some yarn in. There we go. I had to make it in dark fabric, didn't I? So you couldn't see the inside. But anyway, you have seen me making it, so it's a little bit saggy. So yeah, 100% definitely I will interface the bottom of the bag next time. I have never done that with a Finch bucket bag, but I think because the Finch bucket bag isn't as tall as this bag, then that kind of helps it out a little bit. I'm not sure, but I mean, it'll be fine, I'm sure. Nothing like a bulging bottom, right? But yeah, I'm really happy. I love this fabric. This Starry Night inspired fabric is just beautiful. I think it really is a nice way to use this fabric. I still have quite a lot left. Do I have the... oh, I do. I have the fabric here because I was testing on it earlier. So I do still have quite a lot of the fabric left. It's all right. I was overlocking it together to make sure that I had finished, so threaded up my overlocker correctly. So unfortunately I've overlocked those two pieces together, but there is still quite a lot of fabric left. There was about 1 meter of this, so yeah, pretty good in terms of fabric usage. I couldn't tell you how much you need. Does she write it in the pattern? Let me see. So in terms of the exterior fabric, it says 50 by 150 centimeters. So that's, they are recommending 1/2 meter if you've got 150 centimeter width in terms of the exterior fabric and the pocket. So that's this bit and that bit. And then for the lining fabric, they recommend 70 centimeters by 150 centimeters. So again, 150 centimeters is the width of that fabric for the lining and interior elements. Now I kind of went a bit off a little bit because I did some of my interior pieces. Well, I did all the interior pieces actually, apart from these bits. I did the zipper pocket, the hook or needle pocket, and the pouch that's got the elastic in. I did do those in my exterior fabric, so I needed a bit more of the exterior fabric, but that was fine. I had 1 meter anyway. I knew that I could use it, and I knew I had a bit of wiggle room in terms of that, so that is good. As I say, I did change my mind and I did use that elastic, and it doesn't seem too bad. Let me open up the bag a little bit to see if I can show you. Oh, I'm just knocking my glasses. Right. Kind of see that. So it doesn't actually cinch. Yeah, it doesn't cinch the bag in because the pockets sit on the edges. So let me take those out and see if I can show you. So you can kind of see it a little bit. They kind of pull away from the lining rather than cinching that lining in. It is a fiddle to get it to sew, because obviously you have to stretch the elastic and sew it while you're stretching it. So I did have a few moments with it, let me say. But actually the structure of the bag is sound. All it does is it leans a little bit away from, there you go, you can see that, a little bit away from the lining of the bag. Absolutely fine, I don't mind that, it's all good. The other thing I would say is, if you are doing that internal pocket, one thing to say, I have done it in my exterior fabric, as I've already said. My exterior fabric, grab it again, is one-sided. So the one side is the Starry Night and the other side is plain, like a very, well, it's a very pale version of the outside of the fabric. So what that means is, with that interior pocket, I will quickly show you, it means that inside the pocket is that pale colour. So if you're not too bothered about that being seen, because as I say, it does kind of sit away from the interior lining a little bit. If you're not too fussed about that showing, have fun. If you are, then I would just say perhaps either use the exterior lining, which for myself was this navy. So navy fabric, it was navy on one side, navy on the other, exactly the same colour on both sides. That was fine. So I would just say be aware that that has the possibility to show if you're using the elastic and you're doing that interior pocket. Perhaps maybe line it or use a fabric that is double-sided. In terms of the actual construction, I enjoyed it, definitely enjoyed it. I would not be tempted to make it again, and my reason being is that it was quite a lot of work, if I'm honest. It was fun to make, don't get me wrong, it was fun, but I think I found the project bag that I like to make, which is the Finch bucket bag. Really lovely pattern though, don't get me wrong, really fun to make, and I learned a lot in making it, and it's definitely gorgeous, especially, let me tie that up, it's definitely gorgeous. And the thing is, I haven't had the opportunity to use it yet, so maybe when I start using it, my mind might change, and I will find this a lot more functional in terms of a project bag. Love the shape, love how it looks, it's got some great pockets in there. I'm intrigued to be using a zipper pocket inside a project bag. I'm also intrigued to use those little needle pockets as well, that'd be fun. With the elasticated pockets, I think I might use them for maybe putting in caked up yarn. I think that would be quite useful. So maybe when I've started using it, I will find that I prefer this kind of bag, but I'm so happy I've made it, I really am. It is quite the achievement, I'm very pleased, and there we have it. I hope you have enjoyed following me along on the process of making this bag. It was fun, definitely fun, and I hope you enjoy my weird process of making things, because I do go off the, what's the word? I do go off kilter. I do tend to make some executive decisions, but I think that's half the fun of making things, isn't it? I feel like a pattern is definitely something as your guideline, and then you can make small decisions in and around and make it your own. But definitely the instructions were great, really enjoyed them. If there were seam allowances that needed to be smaller than the main seam allowance, you were told. You had a lot of referring back to the pattern piece letters, so that was very clear. Let me just go in. Yeah, that was very clear. Anything that was really, really important, like which way the fabric needs to be facing when you're sewing it together, that was in bold, so that was very clear. And there's loads of photos in the pattern as well that kind of just give you that little bit extra. So really enjoyed it. As I say, I do have the needle pouch pattern, so by the same designer, Laola Patterns, so I will be giving that a go. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below if you have made any project bags. Let me know your go-to pattern for project bags. I'll be super curious to find out, because as I say, I am a Finch bucket gal, but this was really fun to try something new and definitely step out of my comfort zone in terms of those intricate pieces on the inside. Really enjoyed making that pocket for the zipper actually. That was definitely new to me, really enjoyed that. And yeah, just let me know what you think of this video as well. If you want to see some more project vlogs, let me know. I have really enjoyed making it, but as I say, I do feel like I paused for far too long. I hoped that doing a project vlog would kick me into gear and get me to finish the project. It did eventually, just not quick enough in my opinion, but there we go. Anyway, I am going to leave that there. So thank you so much for watching. As always, it really does mean the absolute world to me. I hope that you have a really lovely rest of the day, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.